Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Pescador.
And I'm Jemshi, and in this episode of the podcast, we break down Apex Legends and what's contributed to its overnight success. We also go into how it's had a direct impact against other gaming industries. So follow your jump master, because we're going in.
Jemshi, you played Apex Legends. What is your take on it?
I mean, it's a pretty fun game if I was good at it.
If you were good
a lot more. Yeah, I mean, I think it's with all kind of Battle Royale games that I come into. Like, I have to kind of learn all the, tactics and the, different abilities and stuff.
There are some specific tactics. I mean, I learned real quick that if you go to a gunfight later on, when the circle is closing in like very tight, and there's only a couple squads left, that you're more than likely to get crushed by another squad coming in to fight that squad. So I kind of try to stay away from the battles at the end. And
it seems like the map is kind of a smaller map. I think it might even be smaller than the map for Fortnite.
Oh, it is, but I mean, they only have 60 players, and it's condensed, so it's constantly like battles, and I kind of enjoy it.
I love the art and like graphics style of the game, though. That's the one thing that I think that really draws me in, even if I didn't, I'm not good at the game, but I still love just the look and feel of it. I know it's kind of, I mean, just like the, how they're like the island and stuff where like it's got the machinery and the nature kind of like intertwined
it's all like the skins and environment of I played Titanfall a lot, and I see a lot of the similar kind of structures and things like that I saw in Titanfall, which is kind of cool. But it was a fun game. I did like it when it came out. It was really cutting edge, like Titanfall in general. But I do like Apex Legends. I think they did a fantastic job with a lot of it. They actually had servers that worked right off the bat. They I like the jump mechanics. I like the fact that you kind of glide in. You have a jump master. It's pretty neat. And then
I think the one thing I love is the sliding. Even though it probably doesn't help that much.
Dude, I tried to play like Overwatch and some other game after that. I can't remember what other game I was trying to play, but I kept on trying to slide.
Division, right?
Oh, that's what it was. Yes, and I tried to slide every single time. I played the beta for Division 2, and the game's pretty fun. I enjoyed Division 2. It reminds me of the first one, which isn't bad, but no.
How do they compare to Apex Legends?
Well, Apex Legends is so much faster paced than the Division, to be honest, and I don't know. That has my attention more. It's sad to say, and that's why I think that they did a fantastic job with it. I mean, they got me hooked. It's a Titanfall killer. Jeez, oh man, it's a Fortnite killer for sure. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I do think that they kind of optimize a lot of things in the Battle Royale genre, just in the fact that they went down from like 100 players down to 60. So like they did definitely, do a lot of playtesting there to figure out that was kind of like the optimal, arena
I like
size.
The risk they took in general with this game. I mean, they tried a whole bunch of different things with it. And I'm saying like they tried a 3-man squad instead of a 4, like you're used to seeing, or maybe even a 5. They also tried, different tactics, as in different characters you can be, but you cannot pick the same character on the same team twice. So you can't be 2 bloodhounds. You can't be, you can't have 2 bloodhounds.
Right.
You can't have 2 lifelines. I think that was pretty awesome. And the mechanics of when you get knocked, like in Fortnite, if you got finished, you were done. You had to sit there and watch your friends. But what's neat is if you pick up the person's banner when they're dead, even when they're dead, like you can pick up their banner, right, as long as the time doesn't expire on their banner, and take them to like a
respawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say revive station or whatever they want to call it.
Oh, is it a revive? Yeah, I can't remember
I don't remember the technical term. Yeah,
but I think that actually adds a lot more fun, just like in the game that we played earlier
too. I mean, it adds so much more tactics.
Because it was kind of fun, just like waiting for the enemies to leave your loot crate so that I can go run by and grab your banner.
Yep.
And just slide away and try to just make my escape as I tried to come back and bring you back to life.
I'll tell you the one thing I don't enjoy about the game is the fact that like there's a lot of places you drop that you can't find anything like right off the bat. It's tough to find loot, and there's a lot of times that I find myself even scavenging for a pistol, like, and I could barely find the pistol. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think the loot seems like the looting system seems like it's a little maybe it's a little unbalanced because I know that there's like
well, I think the high loot areas aren't really high loot areas in my opinion. Like, they have higher loot and better loot. Don't get me wrong, but like if you drop in certain sections and you run into buildings, all I can find are like knockdown shields, maybe a helmet, and like a whole bunch of shield regeneration things, and it just stuff like that. I can't find any guns, and there'd be multiple times where I'm like, I hear someone reloading their gun like across the way, and I'm like, let me go in this building and find something. Nope.
Right, and I think the other problem I have when I play the game is just I run out of ammo pretty fast. Like I'm not the best, so I use more ammo than I probably should. I will admit that, but I find that I only have enough ammo when I found the gun originally, and that's all I have for like to go with. Yeah, and if I'm like trying, because whenever you got your team and your squads are kind of like at a distance from each other, and you're kind of trying to work your way towards each other to get close in for the kill, it's like you have to start making shots. Like you can't, kind of keep them at bay. Don't let them get the advantage. Let them run up on you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when I use a lot of my ammo, and then I'll run out of ammo by the time I actually get close quarters.
I just think it's rough in the sense that when you do drop, especially if you drop in a high loot area, there's barely any guns to get, and when you do get guns, you usually fight at least two squads, so like 2 full squads. So like we'll fight one whole squad, and I'll use like a ton of ammo, killing like maybe 2 people. By the time like you get done with that squad, the next squad's literally on top of you. So like you have no time to loot anything or grab anything else, and then you're fighting that other squad, and that's usually when
Right, and you're also competing against that other squad for the guns. So you have the gun, they don't. So you can't loot them for anything to kind of get the upper hand on the squad that's coming in. Because, like you said, if you hear gunshots, you run towards it. Because it's such a small map. Like, you need to be like, well, I'll just eliminate this team so I know that there's like not anybody over here anymore. Kind of try to find your ground.
That's the only thing I think they did wrong in that game, to be honest. I mean, I really like the fact that they added so much to the game in general. Like I found myself playing it over and over again. Like I'll get frustrated because I'll land 3 or 4 times in a row somewhere like a high loot area, and I'll get maybe 1 kill and die immediately, or no kills and die immediately, or whatever it is. But like even when I'm like at my wit's end, I'm like, one more match. I'll do it again. It's fun for me. And to be honest, they made it so nice that like in Fortnite, for instance, when you have a squad of random people, it's so hard to communicate just in general with your team. And they made it so nice that you can actually point things out to people, like ammo, helmets, armor,
enemies, kind of like let them know
all that stuff.
There's people over here, and we need to be worried.
So I don't even need to speak to my team if I don't want to. And that's the nice part, because I can just point things out, point people out, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I know my problem is that I keep accidentally doing the double tap on the...
I do that sometimes too.
Or I keep accidentally alerting that there's enemies here, and we're like, what? We just dropped, like...
Yeah, I've done that multiple times too, but no, they did a really, really good job, in my opinion, on designing the whole game in general. I mean, I know that they've reused some things from Titanfall, and this game was, from what I understand, this game was made to just heighten or hype up everyone for Titanfall 3. This is the kind of filler for Respawn until Titanfall 3 comes out. But
and I honestly feel like they did a good job with that, because they've got so many people into that game that probably have never even played Titanfall.
What was it? Like 10 million people started playing this game in the first 72 hours, which is insane. 10 million people.
Right. Like, even for big, AAA games, that's still insane.
I mean, what was WoW up to? I can't even remember, like 12 million active members or something like that. But like, this is in 72 hours, 10 million people. Like that's crazy.
I actually looked at it. I'm looking this up now. I'm looking up how many people are playing WoW right now.
Oh no, I mean back in its heyday, man.
I'm like looking now. I'm like, yeah, they've definitely dropped like insane amount. And I think, speaking of like Blizzard and it, like just their games dropping, they have also been just overall financially not been doing too well either.
No, not at all. And that's with well, with the fact that they're not bringing out any new games and EA doing so well, their stock has gone down dramatically. Absolutely tanked. So they helped publish, what is it? Call of Duty.
Yeah, with Treyarch, right?
Well, yeah, Treyarch developed the game and they helped publish the game. And that was their like peak in so long with the release of I almost said Battlefield, my goodness, Call of Duty Black Ops, and they got a really huge spike, but after that they just had nothing. It's just been going steadily down. So
right, and I think a lot of people actually dropped off of the Call of Duty Battle Royale scene. It seems like they couldn't really compete in that scene. I know that I haven't really seen many people playing the game compared to, like even Fortnite's still doing not too bad, considering it's been around for over a year.
I mean, yeah, and they always bring new things out, but I mean, Call of Duty,
right? But like now they got Apex Legends. Like it didn't Call of Duty definitely didn't have the impact that Apex Legends has had.
No, absolutely not.
It's only getting better for Apex Legends because they have so many players, and they already are kind of amping up this like game to like, well, there's going to be more, possibly more characters, more weapons, more maps. Like they already have like all this hype and stuff for the game that like Call of Duty just really couldn't keep up with. And I feel like they already started to fall behind.
It's the rise of the free-to-play game, man. Like that's just like what it is. Like it has so many attention because like if you think about it, okay, Call of Duty isn't my cup of tea anymore. It used to be back when Modern Warfare 2 was, the rage. I used to love Call of Duty. Call of Duty's kind of just pumped out games every so often, kind of put like new skins on characters and did a little couple different things. And you can slide and fly and all that stuff, or run around and off a wall. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. They added a couple new things, new guns, all that stuff. But in its essence, like what is Call of Duty compared to something that's free to play? I mean, if you're going to pay $60 when it came out for Call of Duty, to get this reskin game that's, let's put it this way. It's nice. It looks really fun. Like I actually kind of want to get it at one point in time just for the Battle Royale and the zombies and stuff. It seems fun. But I mean, compared to a free-to-play game that, you can do the same basic thing. I mean, it is Battle Royale specific, but I mean, it's free-to-play.
Right. The barrier to entry is just non-existent. It's just a matter of downloading, which takes, maybe an hour or two of your time. And that's,
let's put
you could be doing something else.
Let's put it this way, man, though. I mean, look at it. Okay. Most gamers, I'm not saying all gamers, but a lot of gamers are young. They don't have much money. They have to talk to mom and dad for some stuff. What's the easiest thing to get? Something that's free. It's for console. It's for PC. I mean, you just go on, download it, play it. I mean, it's just that simple. And then,
right. I think actually, if I remember correctly, like it's almost like a whole day's paycheck almost for a video game. Like if you're, we're just in high school, just working a basic job, and you probably don't. Your whole Saturday, Sunday when you work. I
mean, I used to blow my money on video games, yeah.
Yeah, but now that you don't have to, that is just such an incentive to start downloading these free-to-play games. Like, why not? What do I have to lose? It's not like I have to invest. Because when you spend, $60 or more on a game just to play it, you feel like obligated to play it.
Then they come out with DLC, and it's just like, pay to unlock this stuff, too. And, like, just gets to the point that you're just like, oh man,
you're like, it's never ending, right? You're like, I can play this free to play game, and then maybe buy a skin or two just for the character that I find out that I like playing the most, and
exactly, or unlocking someone because I've played. I'm like level 30, and I've never bought anything for anyone with the money, the in-game currency like they give you for playing the game. I unlocked Caustic, which is a big mistake in my opinion. I should have went with Mirage because I did it for my Xbox. I got Mirage for my Xbox because I had EA access. They give you like money off the bat, which is nice. But I do so much better with Mirage than I do with Caustic. But it's such a far distance at some point in time. It just like I feel like I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege again. Like That moment when you're just like,
that
crap, dude, this is going to be so long until I unlock the next character. I just want to
the grind to just unlock things.
Yeah. Because, like I said, I'm level 30. I already unlocked one character, and you know how XP, you only get money, in-game money, when you level up, and the gap between, you know, like the beginning of your level to the end of your level is huge. So like you have to pay
more
like,
levels, the higher your level, right?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. So now I'm like, I have like 3,000, whatever the currency is in the game right now, and to unlock it's like 12,000. So I'm like 1/4 the way there. It's just
I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm still trying to get familiar with all the characters that I currently have.
No, but they did a very good job. Like I didn't think I liked a few characters, but after playing them so much, I kind of got used to the play styles and everything like that. But it's really fun, and I like the finishing moves. Those are really fun. Yeah,
those are pretty. I thought that was really interesting. That was like my first game. I think I got finished. Sorry, I'm not that good, but so I got finished. But I thought that was just pretty awesome, just to see that they had like that much thought into the game. It wasn't just like, oh, I got killed. It was like, oh man, like, you know, you got finished. You know, like
I think my favorite finish is the robot Pathfinder. It's you've never been finished?
I haven't seen it.
It's so funny. He basically like gives you a haymaker, not like kills you, and then he like claps his hands real hard. He's like real excited that he kills you. It's really funny. His character in general is just hilarious. There's so many times he kill like an entire squad, and he'll go, "I wiped out the entire squad. Cool." Like it just like his comments are hilarious. They did a really good job of writing with him. Him and Mirage, they're both really good characters. They're really funny, witty. So.
Yeah, one thing I want to bring up with Blizzard is that they actually had, like, Activision Blizzard, is they actually laid off, like, a huge chunk of their, like, you know, employees just recently.
Well, yeah, and that's because of this, too. I mean, it's just a contributing factor. It was going down regardless, but it's...
Right, because they had Black Ops, you know, the recent release, and that was just, that was their peak. And then now they've been going downhill. They announced, not too long after, they had the Diablo for mobile, which was honestly probably the worst mistake they've ever made, because it was, for those that don't know, it's actually they took a Chinese game and just reskinned it with a lot of like the Diablo, you know, game characters and just setting, and just released it and said, "Hey, here's your next Diablo game for all the mobile users." And like everybody who plays Diablo,
well received by the fans, huh?
It wasn't, because they really hyped it up a little too much, just saying, "Hey, we got another Diablo game," and everybody's been waiting for the next Diablo game, and they've, you know, these are all PC gamers, because that's just where, you know, Diablo's core fan base is. They're all PC gamers, and then they kind of said, "Hey, here's a mobile game," you know, like, it's kind of like a slap to the face, really.
It's kind of like saying, if you're a hockey player and you just go, "Hey, here's some football pads, have fun," kind of thing, right?
Right, like, it's just like, this isn't what I, you know, play. This is like not even close to, like, you know, it's like, and it's obviously not even like the same game, because they just reskinned something else. That's right. So like, you already know that it's not.
Yeah.
And it was really just Blizzard's way of trying to make money from the Chinese market, because over there, mobile games are like way more popular than they are over here in America. Everybody plays, you know, either console or PC. Like, that's the big, you know, when you're a gamer, that's what they, you know, that's the platform you play on. But over in China, like, they have their phones. I don't even think anybody really owns consoles or PCs. Like, really,
I mean, they do. They definitely play. There's some pretty good players out there from China, but
but they don't like just insane. I think it's just. I
mean, they just have a large population over there in general. So I mean, just mobile devices are huge over there. Like, they have so many different types of phones, like stuff that's even banned over here in the US. I can't remember the name of specific phones, but there's a few phones actually that come from China that are banned here in the US.
Yeah, now that I don't know if it was recent, but it's like the Xiaomi or the Hawaii brand or something. Like, there's a couple brands over there that have some really good phones for cheap, and that's kind of how they started tapping into the American market, because like, we've got the same exact stats as your iPhone, but for like half the price. You know, I think around the half the price, and that was just like a big, you know, draw in, saying, "Hey, I want to buy those phones." And I think that's also
I think it's just because that everyone has one of these. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone has a phone. It's super easy to just market a game for a phone and just be like,
right? Because I think
hey.
over there, like in China, like everyone pretty much has to have a phone. Like all my friends who are from China, that they've all talked like everybody has a phone. Like everybody's got there's like a certain list of apps that everybody has, and it's like it's very unlike here, where like some people are on Instagram, some people are on Snapchat, like that kind of thing. Like there's like the social media over there is just very like uniform. They're just so what's the word? But they do limit a lot of like they don't have Facebook. They don't use a lot of the things that we have here, so they don't have like the variety that they get to choose. So
makes sense.
They do kind of get locked into those social media platforms, and that's kind of how like they all have to be on the phones if they want to actually interact with their friends. But I'm getting a little sidetracked from that. But yeah, I think that Blizzard really just kind of took the wrong turn, I guess, and they're coming into the new year in a very awkward place.
Yeah, and speaking of coming into the new year, though, with something that's incredible, Epic Games in general, like their game store is doing better than I thought at this stage of the game. Like they are starting to release. I actually just read. I was part of the Spellbreak alpha.
Right, I am too.
And they just announced that they're going to be released in the Epic Game Store for us to play. And a whole bunch of other games are going to the Epic Game Store. They're giving away free games in the Epic Game Store. They are doing everything they possibly can to take a huge chunk of the Steam. And honestly, I think it's going to take, because they,
I agree.
Just the amount of money that they want from developers is fractions of what Steam wants. So I mean, why wouldn't game developers just go to the Epic Game Store? They have all the momentum right now.
It's also nice to know that like with Epic Games, they're going to be making so much more with this Epic Game Store.
Oh, yeah.
But we've seen them is that they're actually going to continue working on the game titles that they currently own. Like unlike great. Steam, where like you barely get any kind of Valve releases, from Valve that owns Steam. We haven't really seen any Valve releases or anything as of, I can't remember when the last one was, but like with Epic Games, they're constantly working on their current games. And, I'm just really excited to kind of see how they're becoming the new Valve.
I just think they made tons of money though off of Fortnite. I mean, what are they going to do with all that money? They're going to reinvest it, of course. They have to. Now's the time to reinvest back in. I mean, obviously they're going to keep on doing Fortnite and stuff, but they're going to have some big project they're going to do in the future.
I can only imagine they're going to come out with some new games that are just going to be totally killer because they have such a huge team behind it now because they can afford it. And they're going to be also like the ones holding, like you go to Epic Games Store now, you're going to be playing Spellbreak. You're going to be playing all the Ubisoft games that are now coming out since they signed with them. And I can only imagine it's going to be, not before long, another game company will sign with them and just say, hey, all our games are going to be on Epic Games Store. It just
seems like with the release of these free-to-play games, like just gave reign to so many different things, like so many different things. Like if you think about it, all these like mini platform, like I know we keep on bringing it up, but it's so crazy how rapidly the gaming world is changing. Just like overnight, just like was it Ubisoft left and they're going with the Epic Games and things like that, and then overnight, basically, Apex Legend was released. Like no one even like just. All these things are just coming out like right now, and it just feels like this is the time for all that to just like everyone to start moving in a different direction from Steam, doing mini platforms. It's just crazy.
I love how like there's just so many risks being taken in the gaming industry for once, because it seems like they're trying different things with the Battle Royale genre. Like it used to be just like you fly in with your team and you drop in. Apex Legends changing all of that, the whole genre is going to change, and then they're also changing like. Epic Games is changing just how games are being bought.
If you think about how Fortnite even modeled themselves so different from everybody else in the Battle Royale scene in general, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of games copied the same style. Well, PUBG, it all started with PUBG for the most part too, and kind of branched off from there. But like how many Battle Royale games were made because of that and modeled specifically off that? But then think about how Apex has changed the game of Battle Royale. And now what games are going to be spun off of that? So, I mean, the same style, same setup, the same pickup system, the same loots. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type, like how many more games are going to be coming out? And eventually it's going to start shifting into a different direction with Battle Royale or even some crazy thing I can't even think of, I'm sure, soon enough.
Yeah, there's one thing I've also been kind of interested in, just like in the fact that Battle Royale came out from a mod of an Arma game. So like that, like it's kind of interesting that like there's not very many games out there now that allow for mods. So I'm kind of wondering what kind of genre can we expect in the future, because like this isn't a game that was originally made by a game developer. It was somebody who's just really passionate about making a Battle Royale game.
And it was a game developer still, but I got what you're saying. It's not made by a company, It was made by
a huge development company, like AAA title, or at the time.
Let's put it this way. I mean, so player unknown, he came from, I think it was it Arma? You said, right?
Right, yeah. There was an Arma mod where he kind of picked up his passion. Like he didn't really know much about, game development at the time, I believe, but just by like working on that mod, he was like picking up how to like, do all these things and make that. Cuz I think Battle Royale really got kicked off around from the Hunger Games when that movie came out. Everybody was like, "Oh, I want a video game that's just like that." And it didn't seem like that huge game companies were really responding to that. And that's where Battle Royale kind of came about. Like, I'm just kind of curious as to where the games are going to be going. If, the game, like, obviously they're not listening to what the fans really want. So I'm kind of curious as to how this, what the next game could be if, there aren't going to be any mods coming up in the future.
I mean, with all this money and free-to-play games being the way, I can see somebody just saying, let's take a risk on this type of game and just putting it out there and see how it goes. I mean, honestly, the risk is losing money, but I mean,
I hope that's what I was saying. I hope that Epic Games is going to be the one that's taking these risks.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they have tons of money. They can just take a risk on a game right now. I know it might look bad on their brand, but they can.
Yeah, if they're the ones who are pioneering like a new genre, like they totally took charge with, Battle Royale. So I can imagine that if they pick something else, maybe you just slap the Fortnite brand on it. Who knows how that game will go.
But if you think about it, what's Steam's approach going to be in the future? I mean, we know that,
what are they going to do?
I mean, they know that for a fact Valve's stocks have to be going down, have to be. I mean, I haven't looked them up, but I'm assuming they're going down pretty.
It's got to be trending down. I don't think they've dropped as much as Blizzard Activision.
No, but I'm saying they're taking a hit. They have to be.
Right.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do in response to all of these new free to play games and the Epic Games Store, and just I don't know.
Right, and I think the one main issue is they can release, I'm sure everyone who has Steam is going to keep, no one's going to uninstall it for Epic Games, but I think just in the fact that they're not going to be making as much money as Epic Games.
They're going to be shifting mostly to the Epic Game. People these days are probably going to be shifting to the Epic Game Store.
Right, they're going to be kind of, developers are going to move there just because of the cut. And that's the one thing I think Steam really has a problem, and they have to...
But no, Steam's old. Think about it, man. We had Steam when we were young. And all these kids know is the Epic Game Store because of Fortnite. I mean,
right.
Now that's their new Steam.
Right, and Steam was this old program that people used to game on, and they probably don't even know what it is for the most part. Because I know that
sure they do,
but
lot still.
I know a lot of people came into gaming not even knowing about very many games. Oh, I got a laptop or a PC or something, I could probably play Fortnite just like everyone else. It's popular. I know that was a lot of people's first big game where they spent a lot of time because it was hey, my friends are playing it and they need one more in their squad tonight. I'll play,
Yeah.
So I know that really brought in a lot of people, and it's just kind of interesting to see that, like you said, that's kind of what they're growing up with. It's I got Epic Games, and every time they log in and play Fortnite, it says, hey, we've got Spellbreak now. We've got the latest Ubisoft release. They're going to start going oh, well, I'll just download that game. It's free to play because that's how every game is now.
But all these major game companies and Steam or Valve in general and Activision Blizzard, they have to do something now. What's the answer? I mean, Activision doesn't really have anything on the horizon that I know of. I mean, Modern Warfare 4 is supposed to launch sometime this year. To be honest, I don't think that's going to be what they need at all. Like,
yeah, I feel like the hype is kind of not going to be there. You know, like there's good people are going to be like, well, there's this other game that's free to play. You know, why buy your game? And I think that's actually why Blizzard released, you know, Diablo for mobile. They were trying to tap into that Chinese market because they're just hurting that bad. Like they need to keep the money that they have, and they've had to lay off people now. And it's kind of like, it would be very surprising to me if we eventually hear that Blizzard has to just kind of shut down on, like, you know, World of Warcraft or something.
But they won't cut down on World of Warcraft. What they could do is make it. It sounds stupid, but like look at all the other things that are online, like Elder Scrolls Online, or you know anything basically online. They have a monthly pay-in, basically, you know, monthly pay that's like $15 a month for WoW. What they'll probably do is waive that fee and then make like new skins, mounts that you can buy. That's what everything does at that point in time. Blizzard will make their money back that way. But they need to release something big is what they need to do. And they didn't really start. I mean, they haven't seen Overwatch. It for 6 months. They have to have something. Oh, yeah. But like,
that's just been around. It's kind of not new anymore.
And kind of play off of what we've been saying. It's just been done. Like Overwatch is, yeah, they have new characters, new maps, but that's nothing exciting, nothing new. Like, you know, this Battle Royale scene, the way they've changed it so many times, just something new. They need something new. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with, you know, the new launches with these dying game industries. I just need to. Something's going to have to happen. They're going to have to do something crazy.
And I would love that if this is the kind of pressure and push that they needed, because we haven't really seen anything from Blizzard, you know, in a while. And if this is what pushes them over the edge to finally make that next release, you know, that could be a good thing.
Dude, I honestly think that it's going to be bad for me if they make WoW free to play, because I was addicted to that game when it came out and I had no life. I'm serious. It was bad. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, I've never played, but do you think that they could implement a like Battle Royale kind of game in there? Like, I know you kind of die and you lose everything.
They do have PvP. Maybe they make their own spin-off so it's not technically like WoW related, but like have champions from WoW. I mean, who knows?
Right, like they could kind of. They've done that with Hearthstone, so like they know kind of like how to take their characters and move them into another.
That's honestly something they might have to do. I mean, because
and I honestly feel like, would you play a Battle Royale game like based off of WoW and the WoW like whole?
It depends on how they did it, but yeah,
like you probably would you if it was free to play? Would you give it a try?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I would. I mean, why not? What's the hurt? You know, what's
so hurt, I should say. I can see that being what they need to experiment with.
So you're telling me any game that goes free to play now, just be like, Matt, why not download it? Why not play it? You know?
I mean, what's there to lose? You can always just uninstall it, and you don't feel guilty because you paid.
Like Call of Duty.
You know what I'm saying? So when you pay money for a game, it's
going Call of Duty free to play. Is that what you're saying?
I doubt that those games will ever go free to play. Just because
the name, no. The spinoff, possibly. Like
right. I just think it's just how those game companies have been run. Like they know that when they release the next game, they need to bring in
though.
Right, and they know that within the first week of the game being released, actually more just like the weekend it's released, they're expecting a number of sales coming in immediately. And with games like Fortnite, those sales are just very gradual. They come in as people start figuring out what kind of skins they want to buy, what kind of
not anymore, man. People just go in, they're like, I bought the battle pass. Ooh, this skin's out. This new dance is out. I'm buying it. I don't care. That's how it is. Just people.
Okay, well, maybe I don't take the same approach as everyone else.
No, I mean, people play it so frequently. They love that game so much that as soon as they see something they remotely like and it's a little different from everybody else, they're like, I'm going to buy that right now.
Yeah, I guess they're a little more fast-paced than how I would be. I know it's going to take me a while to even figure out what kind of skins I like, you know, even with Rocket League and, you know, other games that I play.
What other games do you play besides Rocket League?
Right now, not really many.
Yeah, Apex Legends is something can you see yourself?
I mean, I do play Apex Legends. What?
Can you see yourself getting into it?
I can see myself getting Apex Legends just because I feel like 3 is a number in a squad that I feel like I can pull together. Because, like, I feel like the one thing that was with when you have 4-man team, if you've only got 3 people, it's kind of like we've got one extra teammate that we hope is going to be good, you know?
Yeah.
So that you kind of have, like, if you lose, but then it's also like you have that crutch where if you lose, you can always blame that other guy that you're with. So
it's that other Jemshi. Dang him. He's not pulling his own weight. No, but I don't know, man. The way that things are going anymore, it's kind of going crazy. Like, it just free to play seems the smart move right now. With some kind of battle royale scene with skins and character unlocks. I mean,
yeah, I think that those two genres, just like game type and game genre, just like those collide at the right time. Free to play and battle royale, which are they need is 100 people in a match to play battle royale. Having it free to play helps you get to that 100 number, and then the fact that it's just so fun when you're like, oh, there's 100 people in here and I got to be the last one standing is like insane, you know?
Yep. But we'll have to see how these companies react and what they're going to do, because I feel like there has to be some huge announcement other than layoffs that they're going to say, they're going to restructure. They have to. But after that, who knows? Maybe Valve might release, Portal 3 or Half-Life 3 or a free-to-play game with one of those games. Like, can you imagine Battle Royale Portal? People dropping blocks on each other, jumping through portals.
I would actually love that. I could just love the idea already. A Portal Battle Royale.
Can you imagine Half-Life? Oh my god. Like, the physics in general in that game were so much fun. I get the gravity, what was it called? I can't even remember. It's been a while since I played Portal Half-Life 2. But it's like the gravity gun or something like that. You pick up like a saw blade and shoot it and cut off like people's half and cut people in half and stuff. Oh, I imagine that in Battle Royale. And thanks for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast.
And make sure you subscribe for more video podcasts on our YouTube at youtube.com/Rad Gaming Podcast.
You can also find us on iTunes and anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
And as always, stay rad, comrades.